Dama, oh yeah, jello, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, Mama Sheba, come back on. Make me the start to the paragon. Start to the halagon. Cause you know, say my people, they calagon.
All right, good evening. Let's just get started. We are 12 here already. So the remaining 15 or 10 will join us as we proceed. So let me share my screen. Sorry, can you guys hear me? And can you see my screen also?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. Last class we discussed components, and I told you guys the reason why components is very, very essential and necessary in designing, especially when you are designing for teams. So we actually practicalize that. So any questions from last class before we begin today's class? Any question? Let's take some questions if there is any. Okay, I think I will conclude that everybody was.
Sorry, Okpe, please, I have a question.
Okay.
But it's not regarding the last class, but it's regarding Figma.
All right. What's the
Okay,
question?
I actually tried to export the designs I made so I can be able to view it on my phone. The way it wasn't looking like, how would I explain? I don't like the way it was looking on my phone. One, it wasn't so clear. And two, it wasn't the full screen of my phone.
Okay. Michael, what's your question?
Okay, sorry, I missed the last class, but I wanted to ask, why make corporate? Like making something a master, then the rest and from the master you make other, like why creating a button? You make one a master button, and then I actually had a tutorial on that, and it's not really clear. I felt it will have been discussed in the class. Maybe you can just...
Yeah, that's exactly what component is all about. You make some a master. Like for example, this is our master component now. This is our master. Yeah, we did this in last class. You can check through the YouTube. So this is the master component. Now this is the master component. We can use this. We set this one to be neutral. We set this one to be home. This one is classroom, and this one is assignment. Why this one is profile? So as this being the master, if I copy this and paste this here, now this become the slave of the master. We can use the word slave, or you can use this one to be like the child, and why this one is the parent. Yeah, I think let's use that, because master and slave is kind of looking. Let's just use parent and child. So this is the parent component and this is the child. So anything I do to the parent automatically affects the child, but anything I do to the child won't affect the parent. For example, if I delete this one here, if I delete classroom here, it won't affect anything here. But if I duplicate assignments here, it's going to affect the child here. So anything I do here affect this one, but anything I do here doesn't affect this one, because this is actually the mother component, while this is just parent, like inheriting all of the properties of this one. This one is inheriting the properties of this one. So that's just pretty much it. And that's what we did in the last class. So you can check the class video. You understand better how we develop this one from scratch. Yeah, I'm talking about exporting from Figma. It's quite easy. I don't know. I've been exporting, like for example, if I export this now and you send to your phone, okay, what you can do, I don't know. But if you export this, it's actually just going to export normal. I don't know the reason why it is not showing well for you, but one reason might be because of this. If you look at if I click on home now, I come to export. If you can see something that writes 1x here.
Yes.
Yeah, so if I increase this is actually the quality of the image. So if I increase this to 2x and I export as PNG or as JPEG, if I zoom my export, like the file I exported, if I zoom it, I'm going to be able to see all those tests very well without it blurring out. Same thing,
Okay.
3x. So if I use 3x, I'll be able to zoom in and zoom out without having any alteration in my in the test or any blurriness or whatsoever. It's just going to be very, very like the quality will be very, very okay. Just like, but if I
Okay.
use 0.5, 0.5 will be it won't be as okay as all this one. So if I try to zoom 0.5, all these tests will now will be becoming blur. All these tests will be getting blur. So I will advise, if you want to export, make sure you are exporting 2x. So, and also there are some other stuff for exporting for like if you want to export just to showcasing on your Figma or sorry, on your social media platform like your Twitter, your LinkedIn. You won't just export like this. There are some things you can do. For example, if I click on frame now, sorry. If I click on frame, you can see the same panel where you're going to see your iPhone 14 and the likes. You will see social media. So you can see Twitter post, Facebook post, Instagram post. So if I pick
Okay.
Instagram post, that means I want to post on Instagram. And now this is my frame now. This is the Instagram post frame. Let's say I want to post these two designs, this one and this one. Or I just want to post my onboarding screens. You guys have done this one. So this and this are the ones I want to post. Let me just copy them and bring them inside here. Now they are in this frame. So I can now make this frame to be another color. I can make this frame to be then you cannot do you shall do it all the remaining serene that you want to do. So you can add
Okay.
corner radius to this one. Add this one to be, let's say this one should be 12 corner radius of 12 or 24. So like just like Mr. Mike said, the last design you guys redesigned is just for social media purpose. That's why we have this thing curve. But normally for on a normal day, you won't have your screen curved like this. But because I'm sending it I want to export and upload it to Instagram or to Facebook, that's why I just curve this one so it will be fine. But normal, the
Okay.
screen will be curved like this. Yeah. So
Thank
that's
you.
very much it. Francis Fitz, your question.
Yeah, so it's also concerning exporting. So I was saying if I exported it like as JPEG, or yes, as JPEG, if I open it on my, like, we different we use was like Android large.
Mm.
So is it like going to, it was looking weird on my phone. It
You
was
know what?
like,
Send me. I don't know. Should I say send me a screenshot? I don't know why it's looking weird. You can't compare your phone. Maybe probably you
so
are
I'm
looking at
asking
it
if
that
we use Android large and you use like, let's say an iPhone to view it, like I did not use iPhone frame to create it. Does it matter?
no, it doesn't matter unless if you are prototyping. If you are looking at Figma Mirror, that's when you can now be comparing because you use iPhone and you use Android large. Because if you use iPhone frame, if you are playing your prototype on your Figma Mirror with an iPhone device, it will be very smooth. But if you've used Android and you're not playing your Android prototype on an iPhone device, it won't be smooth. But for exporting, I think it's just image. So I don't know why you're having the complaint, because it's just image you are exporting. So the
Yeah.
time really doesn't, it's just as you export it, that's how it will show. But for you to see, you can come here to export, look at preview. So whatever you see in preview is whatsoever you are going to get when you export.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Thank you.
And I also showed you how you can export you want to post on social media. You can just do that, what the one I did earlier. Nuruddin, what's your question? Nuruddin, are you there? Okay. So let's just start.
Hello, are you?
Who is that?
Nuruddin.
Yeah, Nuruddin, what's up? What's the question?
Yes, I said uh about the ruler. So I'm having difficulty in it using it while I was designing. So
Yeah, regarding the ruler, like I said, it's not so essential. It's just for it's the more you become familiar with Figma, the more you know how to use all of its feature. So ruler is just something that you can use as you like. It just depends on you. It depends on you. It's not necessarily something you have to use. It's not something necessarily you have to use. It's just something you can use for several other things. Like for example, if you want to do illustration or you want to like have this thing. Me personally, why I use ruler is most time if I'm designing like this, let me use my layout grid. So, and I don't want to be using this layout grid because the color is kind of sometimes it might be confusing or it might be disturbing your design. So I'll just use my ruler to have my line like this, one here and the other one here. Yeah, I'll make sure it is at the edge. So I can now have my layout grid. So this ruler now is serving as a guide for me just to know, okay, from year to year is what I've set to be my layout grid. And also from year to year is what I've set to be my layout grid. So I won't exceed that line. So, but basically, ruler is just something, just like an hands-on for you as a designer. It's not necessarily, you use it in all of your design. It's not necessary in all of your design.
okay, sir. I understand, sir. But what I'm asking is, what if I want to use it? How do I activate it? So in my screen,
Okay, I thought we
because I've not
discussed.
seen it.
Okay, yeah, we talked about it some classes ago. I think we go to view, click on this Figma button icon here, then go to view.
Okay,
You can see ruler here. Or if you're
okay,
using laptop, if you're using Windows, just press Shift R.
okay, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks, sir.
yeah, Shift R works. All right, so I think that's all for that. So let's just continue from where we stopped. We already designed this one now. So I believe our design should be fast now because we've almost covered all of the components we use. Now everybody knows how to design a navigation bar. Everybody knows how to design a status bar, right? I believe so. So let's replicate this one for this class. And
Sorry, I'm sorry to take us back a little bit.
okay.
So I'm not sure, maybe I'm the one that missed it because I watched the videos over and over. The camera, what represents the camera on the status bar? I'm not sure it was included in the process of when we were designing. So I
Oh,
had,
that's true. I don't think we included it.
yeah, I did one of Jorosha before I got it to the center, but I wanted to know how to include it in that status bar because when I put it in the status bar, the circle, it doesn't fall in the dead center.
Okay.
And when I try to adjust, it either changes what is happening with the three icons to the right or the time on the left.
All right, let's do that. Let's do that. So this is what we'll be redesigning, but we will do the status bar only. So for the status bar, everybody knows how we get our tests, right? I'll bring out this test. So for this test, I would personally like to add auto layout to it, Shift A. Yes, then I can now put the width, and this one should be 2. Why this one will be 12. Yeah. So this one is this is this. So then what else? We have this circle, but let me bring it out. Everybody knows how we get this all of this icon, this network and Wi-Fi and battery. So I won't be doing that. Ungroup this. So I will select the 3 of them and I'll select the 3 of them and add auto layout to them as usual. So then I can give it also 12 up and down. So now that I have this and I have this, let me look at this one. This one is having a height of 14, 17. 14 to 17, and this one is 15. Okay, let's do this. Let me ungroup this. So I'm going to do this. This one is having height of 17, height and width of 17. This one too, height and width of 17. This one. Okay, frame this one too. Then I'll give it width and height of 17. 17. I believe you all know why I'm doing this, so we can just have equal for uniformity. So now this is 17 by 17, 17 by 17, and 17 by 17. I can now add them to auto layout. Yeah, then the distance should be around 1, 2. So it's just fine. So then I will now have 10. Let me make this one 10, 37, or 8, 33. It's fine. So this is 33 height. This one now. Let me see, 17, 17. So this one, so I'll make this one, I'll try and make this height too to be 17. So I can have 17. Yeah. So now this and this should be, this one is 10. No, we used 8. So this and this should not be of the same size if I auto layout there. Yeah. So now that I've gotten this, talking about the circle now, I'm going to make this one to be field container. This one too should be, let's say field container. Yeah, then you cannot draw your ellipse, your circle. I think it's black, so we make it black. So I can bring this one inside of this frame. Then if I try and bring this frame inside now, turn on my layout grid. Okay, we can set this one now like this. I'm coming. Fixed, right? So it's just playing around with the settings now. Okay, yeah, like this. So play around with the settings now. So once this is in the center, once this is in the center, it's just this the spacing between the two of them you'll be reducing and increasing if you want to get to your desired frame. So because I've used this frame now, I'll just make it to be at the edge. But this button now, it should not be this button, this frame should not be this. For me to get this this button, this stuff to be at the end of this place, what I will do is, because this is an auto layout, I will just add this one too, I believe is an auto layout. So I'll just add this thing to this side. What was our margin? 20, right? So I'll just come here and add 20, left padding to be 20 and right padding to be 20. So right padding to be 20. Now I'll bring this one back in. You just try and get the 104. That's 18, right? 18. 16. 15. Let's make this one to 16. So you can do this, or you can just, since we have something here, you can just do also this. bring this one out just for your, bring this one to out. Now we've gotten our this one. So I will not use auto layout this time around. I'll just do this. Select this, and select this. Then I will add them into a frame. So that's just the simple way to go about it also. Then I will make sure, let me duplicate this. Let me off this thing, layout grid. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
All right.
You're louder.
So
Yes, we can hear you.
firstly, you can just first do this. Bring this circle to the middle. So once it is in the middle, you are going to see this red line. This red line to come. So once you put that in the middle, then you select your time to put it. You can switch on your layout grid now. Then put your time to be this, yes, and put this one to your status, this one to be this. Then you can now select the three of them and frame them. That's just pretty much it. Or you can use auto layout too if you want to, depending on how familiar you have with auto layout. So that's how we get that. That's how we can do this one, the status bar. After I select the three of them, frame it, then I can now rename it as status bar. Status bar. Now the three of them are together. Anywhere I move, they go together. Mr. Dilaja, is that clear enough?
Yep. There are
All
things I missed out on, but I'll rely on the video to pick those.
All right, sir.
But largely, I get it. Thank you.
All right, sir. So that's that. Let's start with this one now. So as you can see, this is a chart page. This is a chart page. And how do we get here? Let me go look at the design. Okay, that's classroom. Because we are designing the bootcamp application, like I said the last time, this is for the student has already registered online and took some assessment test and has been said to have passed, right? Let's assume this is now a product design class. So I've passed for product design. I just need to download the organization application so I can use it as my LMS, just like we download Zoom for classes. We first want to use Microsoft Teams, it didn't work out. Then we use Zoom and like, so instead of us going out through those channels, we could just, the organization already had an application for them already. So let's say we just download the application. Then on the application, this is the first thing we see after we register. This is the home screen. Then we go to classroom. So this is now what the classrooms look like. It's just like us being in the channel, just like the channel we had on Zoom, or the chats, the class we've had on Microsoft Teams. So this is the classroom page where we can be able to see the files shared in the class, the bookmark personally for your own self, the pinned messages, and also the members of this class. Then we can also send message and discuss anything whatsoever in the class with our fellow class members. Everybody will see it. So for us to design this page now, the thing we first need to do is, where are we designing? Okay, we are designing here. Now, the first thing we need to do is to have our frame F 100 large, phone 100 large. Yeah, now we have 100 large. Then we'll bring in our status bar because we already have its status bar. Then we bring in, okay, we are not going to be using our navigation bar because this is actually a chart, this thing, the chart box. If you want to go back, you just press on this navigation here. So to get this stuff here, what we can do is use our plugin, our normal material design icon. Then I look for back. This is it here, arrow back. I'll bring it in my design. So let me switch on my layout view so I can get my alignment. So I move this one to this side. Move this one to this side. So as this is this, then the test, product design, blah blah blah. So T, yeah, the reason I saw our submission and it was quite impressive. Everybody did very well, but there are still some that used these fonts now. Some use two different fonts in their design. It shouldn't be so. Yeah, there might be time where you need to use two different fonts, but you have to keep it consistent. Like if I'm using let's say this is my header test now. If I'm using Roboto for this one, for this header test, that means all of my header tests will be Roboto font style, and while my body can be plus Jakarta or Nonito or whatsoever one I want it to be. So, but it should be consistent. It should be consistent. If you are using for your tag for your header, if you are using Roboto, use Roboto throughout, and you are using another thing for body. So it is actually common. You might see some design whereby they might use two fonts, but it is advisable to just stay within that two fonts. Don't use up to 4 fonts in a design or up to 3 fonts. Just stick to two. Two is just too perfect. But normally it is very ideal to also design with one. Personally for me, I've not seen a reason or a scenario where I will be designing with two font style. But it's possible for you to have two fonts in a particular design. So while you assign one font to be for the header test and another font to be for the body test, but just make sure it is consistent across your design. So this is my header, product design classroom. Is that what they have here? Okay, product design 2.0. 2.0. So this is now this is in Roboto. I'm just going to change it to our normal 20. What's the distance of this one? This one is in 14. Okay, I think we are using 12. Okay, 14. So I'm going to change it from from regular to something like semi-bold because it's actually an subheading. Then I'll change the color to our main text. Main text. So I can make this one from this place to this place. Let me check. It is 25. I can make it 24 or just make it 12. 12 is too small. 16. 16 is okay. So 16. Then what will I do? Just to align this one, and this one, I'm going to align them. Distribute horizontal spacing and also vertical spacing. Okay, that's just nice. Then we have 25 members. My T again. I can just duplicate this one, bring it down, then type in 25 members. Then I will change this thing to 12. Then regular. Then the color also, I'll make sure it is not main test, it is not body test. So from I can make this one to be medium. So we have files, bookmark, pinned, members. So how to do this is just carry your tests. So once you type in your test, first we have members. So I will just add auto layouts to this one. So after I add auto layouts to this, I can just do the vertical padding to be, I will add 2 to it. So I can just have a total height of 21. A total height of 21. Then I can increase it to whatsoever amount of length I want it to be, or I can just leave it to have a vertical padding of 2. Then I set this one to field container. So I'm coming. I set this one to all contents. It's not working. This one.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. So
Seems like you like using fill a lot. But like, is there any difference if we use fill or hog, since it will still take on the shape or size of the what's it called?
Yeah, the reason why I use fill a
inputs.
lot is
Like,
because
let's say you use
I don't get
Yeah,
your full question. Your network is breaking. Nelson, is that Nelson? I guess.
yeah, it's me.
All right. So what was
So
your
I'm
question?
like, I'm like, let's say you type member here, yeah,
Yes.
and since it's already in a frame, you duplicate or something, or maybe you are duplicating the member that is already in a frame, yeah, and it is set to hog.
Yes.
And instead of member now, in the next one that you have, in the next thing you've duplicated,
It is set to fill. Hello? Is it my network, or can you guys hear Nelson question clearly? Is this still talking?
We can
It
hear
has
you.
gone
you've
off.
changed it to
It has
something
gone
it's
off
longer.
actually.
Hello?
Hello?
I think we could hear him, but I think it's going in and out.
Okay, but I think I
Okay,
get his
guys.
question. So, Nelson, if you can hear me, your question is that what's the difference between org content and field content? Now, if this is in field content, right, and this one is in, let me duplicate this one, and this one is in org content. So you are now asking the difference between the two of them. Now, the difference is quite very obvious. Like I said, auto layout is just for you to, once you understand it, and it's not easy to understand, though, it's more you practice. Even myself, you can still see I'm still making some trials, like some mistakes. So, but because I understand the basics, so I can actually tailor it to whatsoever results I want it to give me. So this one now is in, let me change this one to this one. You said this one should be in field. Why this one should be in org? I'm coming. This one. Let me just delete all this. Make it members. Let's use members. Let's use members. Let me delete this. Let's start from this. So this I use member auto layout. Then this one is in what? This one is in field container, right? While the second one should now be in org container, org content rather. So, and this one is in fixed. Like, is the thing that is in field container here is the test, not the container itself. This is the container. The container is in fixed, while the members inside the container is in field container. That means you should fill whatsoever. Like, for example, if I bring this, let me do this. Let me reduce this to something like this. If I bring this one inside this auto layout, it's going to give me this. So if I increase, if I increase this box, this member now, if you look at this member something, the frame, this member as a test, look at where it's coming. Like, look at it here. It's actually filling in, it's feeling like it's pushing this stuff to the extreme end. He's pushing this one to the extreme end, while in mistaken, it's being like the chairman is filling up the remaining space for this one. If it has not been like that, if it has been let me say, if it's not field container, let's say it is in org content, now it's going to be like this. There are still going to be some other spaces, and let's say this one is now field container. You see, this one will fill up the remaining space that is remaining inside of this container. That's just mostly, this field container is mostly like, I use it mostly when designing for buttons, and in your button you need to bring in extra components. So if you are bringing in extra component, this stuff will still be filling up the remaining space, while your component, like your icon you are bringing in, will just take one portion of the button or the container you are using it for. So let me reduce. This is not looking fine. I'll just remove this one from fill. I don't want this one to be fill, so I will just make this one to be fill instead. Then this one, if I want it to be in middle, I can just make it to be middle like this, but it is still filled, like it's still filling the remaining unused space. Francis Faith, do you have a question?
Yes, I don't understand what you just did with the fill and hog container text thing now. Like I didn't understand it.
Okay. As after this class, I will implore everyone to just go watch a YouTube video on using auto layout. So it's actually it's actually a lot to learn. It's not something you can just get at one sitting. So the reason why this is in field, let me delete this back. If you look at these members now, you see that taking the whole container. Let's say, what do I mean by container? This is, let me duplicate this. this is a test, right? This is a test. This is a test. And as you can see here, on my layer panel, I have 25 members, which is actually what I've written here. So if I had this test into a frame, like I said, the frame is like a container. So this frame is now, these members, 25 members is now inside of a container. And the name of the container, don't let us use frame, let's use container. The name of the container is test. So test container. So if I increase this test container, you see this test actually still remain where it is. So I can resize this test container as I like. Then bring this one to be okay for you to better see. Let me have a fill. Let me have a fill. Okay, now you see this is the container. This white background you are seeing is the container, and this test inside it is just a test inside the container. So I can now make this test to be in the middle and also in the center like this, and I can move it anywhere I want to. So this frame, this white background is called container, right? It's still the same thing as if I have something like this. If I have something like this, then I now frame it. As long as I'm adding frame, that means I'm adding container to it. It might not be noticeable, but know that this 25 member is inside the container, and this container is because it doesn't have a background. That's why you guys are not seeing it. Immediately I add a background to this frame, you're going to see it. So you get up to that point, right?
Yes.
Yeah, same thing with auto layout. If I have auto layout will convert whatsoever. It is going to add frame to whatsoever I'm adding. For example, this 25 members. Now, if I had auto layout to it, what auto layout will give me is a container, like a frame, which is, you can see it is now frame 26. The only difference between this frame and the other frame is that this frame is, and this one is, I got this kind of frame because I used auto layout. If you look at my layers panel, if you look at Android Large 8, Android Large 8 is a frame, but look at the symbol, it's like a Naira symbol. But look at this frame 2164. It's also a frame, but it is not, it's an auto layout frame. That is why it is like this. And this kind of auto layout is actually horizontal auto layout, like it is laid out horizontally. For vertical auto layout, is going to the sign is going to be like this. The sign is going to be like straight, but for horizontal, for vertical rather, it's going to be 111 like this. Like you're having something vertically aligned, but for the other one, you're having something horizontally aligned. So that's where you know the type of frame you've actually done. You can also know from here too. If you come to auto layout, by the right panel, look at this arrow down shows vertical, this arrow forward shows horizontal. So what this does is, if I have design like this, it might be going out of what Nelson asked, but I think this is also necessary. So if I have a design like this, I select this one, and I had them in an auto layout. This is vertical auto layout. I can also set it to be horizontal auto layout by just clicking this. That means I will have them arranged straight like this automatically. I can also change it like this, like this, like this. And there's a new feature called wrap, but we're not going to be touching that one. So let's just stick to this. I believe you already know vertical and horizontal layout, auto layouting. So for vertical, it is like this. For horizontal, it is like this. So, but that's not even the case here. Where we are going for the question is this. So if you have a frame, which is our container, I don't think everybody should have an issue with me using the word container. Is it quite? Do everybody understand the reason why I'm calling this a container now?
Yes.
All right. So we have this container.
Yes.
Container one. So I would like us to practicalize it together. Container one, and this one is container two. So this container one has a test inside, and container two has a test inside. But this container, I've set this container to org content. That means whatever content is inside this place, this container, my frame is going to adjust itself to org it. Like for example, if I delete this now, and I have 25 bars. So this frame is actually orging this content. But if I had this frame, this container to be fixed to it, that means if I have something like this, 25 bars, this container will just remain where it is without moving, without adapting to this container with the text inside. Let me add fill to it so you can all see clearly. Let me add fill to it. Now look at, I've added fill to it. It is very, very obvious now. Look at these 25 members now. If I now want to change it back to 25 members, as you can see, the frame is actually increasing with the amount of text I'm inputting inside, that's because this container is in org content. Like org, whatever content is inside, org it, make sure you are grabbing it. But this one for container 2 now, I set the width of it to be fixed. And for auto layout, this is width, this is height. You can do the same thing you do for width, you can do it for height too. I can make the height too to be fixed height. Now look at what happened if I make it to be fixed height. If I say 25 members, blah, 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 blah. Now the text is going out of this. But if I make this one to be all contents, yeah, all contents. So I make this one to be, it's going to be increasing like that. But if I make the height, the width not to increase again, not to be fixed width, and the height to be all content, that means if I do this, I'm going to get something like this. Like the height is actually, it will be increasing in height, but it won't increase in width. It will increase in height, but won't increase in width. Unlike this one, unlike this one that I've set to be, unlike this one that I've set the container to be both fixed width and fixed height. So whatever text I'm typing inside will not be responsive. To just be like, it will just be there. The container will just remain there because I've asked it to fixed. Don't move. By width, don't move. By height also, don't move. You can see vertical resizing, which means height, don't move. Horizontal resizing, which means the length, don't, or the width, don't move too. So, but if I change this to from don't move to org content, it's going to pack all the text and org it together. Should we get? No,
It's understood.
Understood, sir.
Yes, boss. Yes,
I
yes.
have a question.
Yeah. So what's your question?
By the time you use this whole content,
Yes.
and then you adjust the font size,
Yes.
will it also cause the frame to be adjusted to? Like if after you've hooked content horizontally and vertically too, possibly, then you increase the font size, definitely the frame is supposed to increase in size. So is it going to increase?
Let's try that now. So this is container 2. We have our height to be org content, right? And our width also to be org content. Now I want to increase the size, the font size of this text inside. We change it to 24. We change it to 40. We change it to 96. As you can see, it's increasing with the text inside. But if this height hasn't been changing the font size, we should automatically increase the width and height of the container. But it won't do that if you have set your container to be fixed width and fixed height. That means you don't want it to pass this particular width and height you've set it to be, which is 126 by 136. So now if I increase the size, font size of this one, the container won't increase because it is in fixed. But if it is not in fixed, if it is in org, whatsoever Serena I did to this text, the container is going to follow it and do, because I told it to org the content, which is, and what is the content in this case? The content is this text. So if there has been some other icon or some other element too, it's still going to do the same thing. It's going to org it and make sure it is inside of itself, like contain it in a container. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah. So your settings now depend on what you actually want to accomplish. Let's go back to the next question now. Like, when should you use fill or when should you use fixed or org? It depends on whatsoever thing you want to accomplish. For example, now this stuff now, what we want to accomplish is we don't want a fixed width. As you can see, bookmark is bigger than this one is bigger than this one. Unlike for button, whereby for button we want a fixed width because we want to maintain consistency along all our design. So you can set this container to be, this one should be fixed width, while this stuff inside can be filled. So it can be filled. That means you should take, so anything I'm bringing inside now, for example, let's say I want to bring, there's an icon, let's say instead of sign in, or let me just say continue. And as I said continue, I want to have an arrow and an icon in the front of this thing that will tell my user that, okay, this continue means we are going forward. Let's say forward. Is Franklin on this call? Yeah, this one. I'll bring this one. Then I'll change it to white. I'll change selection color to white. So now I want to bring it inside of this frame, right? So automatically, you see, nothing changed to this stuff. It's just this continue now, just it adapts, it fill in the remaining space that is here. I can set this one to be like this. Yes, I can set this one to be like this. Then I will now say, okay, I want this one from 10 to be something else because I want to push this one to the front. I want to push this one to whatever 20. This one too will be 20. Then look at what happened to this arrow. If I try to reduce this continue, because this continue is actually filling in the remaining space, pushing this arrow to the extreme edge, which is what I actually wanted. So if I try to reduce this arrow, you see what's going to happen. You see what's happening now. Like this, there are still some unnecessary space here, and I don't want it to be. So I want this space to be filled. That's why I said this one to be fill container. So it's going to push this one to the edge, while it is going to occupy the remaining space that is available. So if I try to reduce this to, sorry, if I try to reduce this one. How do I have a frame in a frame? This sub menu button, if you can check my left panel, this sub menu button, let me just bring it out of this frame. I don't know why it's in another auto layout. So I can now do this. This frame is actually two. This is a button, this is a button. I'm coming on. Let me Control Z. So this, we have this. So under this, we have this. If I bring this one out, what do I have? This one, who did this? Let me delete this. This one shouldn't be there. This one now as sign up, as test, and the remaining blah blah. So this one is in field. This one is in this. So this one now is what I want to reduce. Yeah. So you can see what is happening. So that's just the work of an auto layout. If I had used, let's say this one is not in auto layout now, let's duplicate this and let's make this one to be. So if I ungroup this, it's going to ungroup it for me, but I still want it to retain the container. So I won't ungroup. I'll just come to auto layout here and I'll click on this minus here. So this stuff will be in a frame. Like I said already, auto layout is only framing your content for you. So this one is now in a frame. So if I do what I did for this stuff here, if I do it for this, it's not going to be responsive. Like I'm just reducing the fonts, the size of the rectangle. Unlike if I do it for this, which is going to actually be responsive, because I've said, okay, this one is inside this container, and I said this container should be fixed. Why this jargons here should fill into this container. So whatever size this container is, this stuff is going to fill it. While this one also will still be in its position without changing, or else I decide to change it and say that, okay, this one should be fixed. This one should be all contents. Sorry, this one should be all contents. Why this one should be filled? Now you see this arrow is going to be stretched. It's going to be stretched because I said it should fill. So pretty much your settings, what you want to get depends on your settings. So for this one, what we want to get is to have where's the design? What we want to get is to have stuff like this: files, bookmark, pinned, and members. So what we're going to do is just have a member. Then, okay, let me start from the beginning. Just duplicate your text. Once you have your text, members. So I just want a box whereby if I increase this content, it's going to increase together with it. So I'm just going to add auto layouts to this. Then I want to keep a margin of 2 by the side, 2 by the left. Then the height and width of if I use 8, what will I get? I have 33 as maximum. So let's use 6. So I can have 29. So I can have 29 as, or let's use 4. I think 29 is too big. So 25 is it's still preferable. So I can now add field to this because this is a container. Like I said, once you auto layout something, it turns it into it add it into a container and puts your text inside of the container. So this text now is org content. This one too is org content. So let's now say, okay, this container, I want to add color to it. We're going to add something like this, very light. Then we add corner radius of 24. Okay, now you can see this one corner radius is not up to 24. So let's use corner radius of 12. 12 is too much. Let's say 4. 8. I think 4 is fine. 4 is fine. But as you can see, if I have the corner radius of 24 like I did initially, I do not have enough breathing space for this test. I can then increase from my 2 to something else like 4. Then I will have enough breathing space between this stuff, the test and the background, like the container itself. So now this is this. Let me change this back to 4, like the corner radius, or 8. Let's use 4. I think 4 is fine. So now we have members. Now let's try and increase this test and see what happens. This thing increased together with it, and that's because we've set it to be org content. We set this container to be org content. That means this container should org whatsoever amount of jargons is inside of it. Try and be flexible, org it, make sure it is not going out of you, and make sure you are not going out of it. Like if this one has been in fixed, that means we are not telling it to org this one. Nothing concerned him with the members, like the content that is inside of it. So if you do any changes to this, nothing concern this guy here, because we've actually told the guy to just stay where he is and he shouldn't move. That's by width, and by height we said it should org content. So that means if I now press enter here, it's going to work. It's going to increase by height, because we said it should actually increase by height, but it's not increasing by width because we've asked it not to increase by width. We've set it to be fixed. So what we're going to do now is just set it back to org content. So it's going to org this content. Then we have members. Nelson, is that understandable? Is that straight?
Yes.
All
Can
right.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So I'll just change this one to 2, because in our design is not too much. It's just the spacing between the 2 of them is not plenty. So I'll change it to 2, and I'll change this one to 2. Yeah, which is nice. So we have members. I'll duplicate this. After members, we have file. Then from file also, I'll just add this one into auto layout. So my duplicating will be quite seamless. It will be straightforward. So I have bookmark also. So bookmark, I'll change the text here to bookmark. Then I also have pinned. I'll duplicate again and change it to this one to pinned. Now I don't really need to bother about my container size again, because I've already set the settings to be all content. So I don't need to bother whether this one is going to be bigger than this, or to get the normal width, and because it is an auto layout and I've set the settings, so I'll just type in all of my text. I would know that automatically it's going to embody it. So now we have file to be the first one. So I'm just going to click on this, move it to the first one. Then we have bookmark next, bookmark, shift it to bookmark. Then we have pinned and members. Yeah, fine. So then we can now add spacing between these. Or all we can do is, because we are working with this layout grid, you want this one to be at the extreme edge. If that's what you want to do, instead of doing this, instead of increasing it like this, you can as well just set it to auto and just drag to wherever you want it to be. Automatically it will change the sizing of this the spacing between all of them to be equal. It will make the spacing between all of them to be equal. So I'll just do that. Auto. I'll use auto. Yeah, I think this solves for this. So as you can now see, now let me delete this. Now let me have the layout grid. As you can see, this is quite looking. Let me bring this one down. This is quite looking kind of the same thing with, if I say, okay, I now want to bring in this test. I want to bring in this test. because it's like a chart something. Now I don't know. This is kind of looking so what should I call it? But if you look at this design, you can see this one. I don't know the background, or I don't know which contents. Like it's kind of just, I might think this one and this one are kind of related or something like that. So, and to do that, in our first class, you notice we talked about background color for your entire design, like for your application. So what we can do is to have a background color for this stuff. This one would be a background color, something like this. It should be the background color. If this is the background color, then you can now have this one, this one, this one, and this one in a frame. Then sorry, I hold my control to increase this one, so others want to increase with it. Then I do this, then I can now add color to this frame just to make it stand out. Then I will send to back. I will send to back. But what they did here is quite different. What they did here is quite different. The background color, they still maintain the background color of white. So we are going to follow that. So let me just Ctrl Z to where we had this. Yeah. So to make this one stand out from the background, what they had is they had the color to it. So, and to do that, I just select this, and this. You can also select this one together with it and frame it. So also this will also help in prototyping. That means whatsoever, if you want this one to just stay fixed, it's going to stay fixed, while the charts can be scrollable, and this one will be entering under the store, while this one will just remain there. This product design will just remain there. So, but for now, let's just do this, and let's add a color to it. Let's add the color to it. I'm going to use my color picker to pick this color. Now,
sorry to interrupt.
So I have a question.
Nelson, you said you want to ask a question. You said you interrupt.
10%. So make a note that I say, I know if you attend.
I did not hear you.
I said my laptop is like 15%. I don't know if attendance is coming out, so I can fill before my laptop dies.
Yeah, attendance will be dropped soon, but I'm not sure when. But don't worry, since you are part of the class, I'll take note of that. Francis, your question.
I have a question, sir.
Francis, what's your question?
No, I raised the hand by mistake. Sorry.
Okay. Who's the next person that have a question?
I have a question, sir.
All right, Manuel.
Okay, so what I want to ask is if putting a background color is really necessary for all our designs.
Okay. I'm with you.
Question, sir.
Okay, you want to ask if it is necessary. No, it depends on your brand, on what you're designing for. It's you are the one that will decide. Either you want to have a background. There are some applications that are with white, this thing, white, just normal pure white, FFF. White, there are some that are they have a background color. Just like if you take, for example, let me see WhatsApp, for example. Now, if you enter WhatsApp, for example, WhatsApp have their own background, their own color. You get, and they even make their own to be more customizable, whereby you can use you can change whatsoever color you want it to be for your background in your charts, this thing, in the charts box, or what should I call it? So like where you usually chat with people normally, you can change the background to something else. There are a variety of stuff, but they are not all applications will give you the luxury of that or the opportunity to change that. So some will just come with the pre-designed background, which is quite abnormal. When we're talking about your PiggyVest application, your OP. If you look at your OP, you will see that okay, they have a different background from PiggyVest. So their background is not always white. Not all application background is white. So it depends on what you want to do. It depends on what you want to, just for you to have what should I call it? I don't know. I can't get the better English. But for this, if you look at this now, this if this background color hadn't been white, let's say this background color is kind of, let me say this background color is kind of the same color with this color. Now you see it's kind of different for me to tell that this test is not elevated. So most times you use the background color so that all your design will be. The reason why you are seeing this one clearly is because this is another color. And this basically this is always your primary color. Like if you're in the chat box, this one is mostly like the brand color with a very, very low light. But if this one also is like something like this color again, now you can see, and this one is black. I've been disturbing this design. This one is black normally. Now you can see this one is just floating. It's just floating on the background. It's not showing me any different. Like it's not showing me that okay, this is my chart. Why this is this guy chart? Why this is this guy? This guy chart is not elevated. So for us to have that kind of smooth design and for it to be elevated, that's why mostly we have a background color. So we can also now work with some other colors that will now be on the background. So we now those color will now be determined based on our background color. I hope you understand that. So typically it's always good to have a background color, but the color of your choice now depends on the project you are doing and how you want it to look.
Yeah, I understand, sir.
But for most organizations, for most designs, it's usually your primary color toned down. Like for example, this one now, what's our primary color? Our primary color is this. So I'm just going to do this, come here and go up here. It's still going to be, this is 95. I can make it 99 or 98. I think 98 is fine. So we can just make it 98. So if you look at this color now, it's kind of looking like white, but it's not all white. So you can also keep it at 99. Or just do this. So just look for anyone that is kind of not FF, but very, very close to your listing. Very, very close. As you can see, this is FPBF CFE. So something like that will also work. So it depends on your design. So, but I'm just going to use this post background so we can have something similar. Yep. So this is this. So for this one and this one, and this one, let's do the sizing now. This is 12. Let's use 4. Yeah, 4 is fine. Then this one, so this one and this one, I'm going to frame it or just add auto layout to them. Then this one and this one, so I'll add auto layout to them and change this distance to 12. If that is 4, this can be 12. And this one will now have the opportunity to increase. Yeah. So this one and this one are not aligned. You can see there's still space up here. So what I can do is to add auto layout to them to solve that. So this and this are now like align top left and align top. So for that, I will look at this two. I'll look at this one. So this is 22. This one to this is 22. 22 is quite okay. Or let's say 24 because we're using 24. Let's use 24. 24 is fine. So that means in case if I want to have another design here, I can from this place to this place is 24. Yeah. So just make sure there's consistency in all of your design. For example, this one now, this space, this one, if you look at from here to here, this is 47. From here to here, 47. This one too, from here to here should be 47. This is 54. So this is wrong. So just change this one to 47. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let me look now. I have 46. 47. So, but I think it should be, is 47 divisible by 4? Is 46 divisible by 4? So just use something that is quite that is
Yes, it is.
that is that tallies.
No, it's not.
It's not divisible.
It's not
by
divisible
4.
by 4. It's not.
Okay, let me look for what we can use. 48. Then you can either use 40. This is 40 what? 46. So let's use 44. 44 should be divisible by 4. Is it?
Yes.
That's 11, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's use 44. So we use 44 like that. This one too, or this one too will be 44. So you can come here and this is 47. 95. So this is 47, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 43. 44. So to this place is 92. I'll just come here and just type 92 here. 92. So automatically I know, okay, it is 44 like that. So that's just it. Make sure also the space here, just like we did for the button, like the button is 508. This one too is 508. Normally 508, yeah. So this one too should be 508. This one too should be 508. 508. So that's, always keep that in mind. So it can be for anything. This, even though for this position in this one now, this one is in, let me ungroup this so you can know the actual size. This one is 20 by 2072. So if I look at it, it is 72 to the and 20 to the padding. So same thing for this one too. It should be okay. This is actually their own design, not ours. This is their own design, not us. So we can't use this one too. This is their own design. So, but for us, because we are designing this, so if you want to design another page that has back, our back must be same position with this one. So we shouldn't be having something like this. We shouldn't be having something like this. If you have this one like this, we should have this one like this. If you want to stick to this size, then you should stick to this size, all of your design. If you want to stick to this size, stick to this size with all your design. So let's continue this. So this one now, we can also have a corner radius if you want to, individually.
So,
8. Yes, I'm with you.
sorry, I just want to ask a quick one. There are times you press something on your keyboard while you move up and move down
Stop it.
during your alignment. So I just want to know what exactly do you press while you are doing that? It makes work faster. But for me, I use the mouse, but it's not as fast as what you do.
I use mouse too.
Okay, I thought there's something you press on the keyboard while you
Like,
press your mouse, then it moves
like
up
this.
and then. No, not this one. I mean, why aligning? Like, if you click on yes, and then maybe you want to align up, you want to go up a bit. Here, I think
I
there's
want to
something
go
you
up like
do
this.
press. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
you want to align it.
you hold your Alt key. Like Alt key is
Okay.
actually used for duplicating. If I want to duplicate this stuff now, I want to duplicate something exactly like this to the front. I'll just hold my Alt key and drag that stuff to where I want it to be.
Yeah, I know, but at times you want to align. Like for instance, okay, exactly what you are doing right now.
I'm still using my mouse. It just depends on how well you can use your mouse.
Oh, okay.
I'm still using my mouse. No any other additional or extra key. I'm just using mouse to move to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry
you are using your mouse.
Sorry, Mr. Kwe. Your zoom in and zoom out too. If you hold the Alt key and you for my mouse,
don't hold Alt key for zooming. You use your control.
Control.
Yeah, your control and the middle ball in the middle of your mouse.
Okay, thank you.
To do this, you hold your shift and the button, that same button that I said, the don't look like that rolling stuff in the middle of your mouse to do this. But to zoom in, you use control like this, up and down. But for left and right, you hold shift. So let's continue with this design. So now we've done this. And what else? We want to do this. Now what we can do is have our test. So what we can now do is, because this is org container. So you can just do this. I'll use my Lorem Ipsum now. There's a plugin called Lorem to get my dummy test. Yeah, so I want to generate paragraph, 2 paragraph, or just say 1 paragraph. Generate. Okay, 1 paragraph is too. Oh, this is nice. So I'll just do this. Come here and do this. Come here and do this. So then I will now change this one to our normal body. Okay, this is normal body text. I'll just change it to regular. Then I will change the background of this one to, I think I'll use my color picker to pick this color. Yeah, as we can see, this is quite looking, this text. Flux Jakarta 12. This one is what? Okay, they use lights, so it's kind of looking bold. That's what I want to say. Let's use lights. So now it is like this. So you see how if I increase this now, sorry, if I increase this test now, this should go together with it. This one, increase this one. Let me see. Who made it fixed? All content. Okay, it's going to be fixed because I'm actually doing this now. I'm using it manually. Like, yeah, I want to have something like this. This is not working fine.
It's still unfixed. It's still fixed.
Okay, let's see all contents. All contents. Okay, yeah, thank you. So, but the test inside now is let's try what full container we do for us.
I also usually experience this. Each time I pick something, it goes back again. So that's what it's doing now. It goes back to your fixed instead of it to you set it to all content, it goes back to fixed again.
Yeah, it does. It does that a lot. I
I think
think that's how they
uh,
design it. So
I
let's
think
start.
one of the reasons why it does that, I think is because you didn't alight it. That's how it goes back. If you alight it, it will change.
No, normally for the layout, it does that. It go back to fixed. Once you make any changes to this stuff, now it's going back. It's going back to fixed. Once you make any changes to this content inside, it goes back to fixed. So it's now now even same thing. Sometimes it happens with this field. Same thing with this one, this field container. If I make any changes to this, sometimes this stuff we go back to fixed. Or if I do some let's say some adjustments. So it's not just always, you have to always go back to check, oh, what's wrong. That's one major problem with auto layout. You have to just go back to check what's wrong. But for now we have 12. Let's have 20. So we can have more breathing space. 20. Now this is field container. So is it 20? 20. So 20 is fine. For this one, let's have we have let's say 4 for up and 12 for down. Or let's say 24 for down and 12 for up. Yeah. So this is like this. So we have also time here. We have time. So we can now do that. We have 16 o'clock or 16:04. 16:04. Then also this. So this one light is medium. Then I can now bring this one inside my frame. So color is what? The color is kind of similar to this color. Then make it semi-bold. I'll make it, let's change the color so it can be more noticeable. I think this is fine. So this one is for this one is for this. So but as you can see, this one, okay, let's do this. Let's add this one and this one to be auto layouts. Then this one should be something like, I'm coming, something like this. I want to try something else because you can see this test is kind of, yeah, I think this is what we want. This one from 24, let's change it to 20. So I think this is what we want, because this test is actually coming out, and this one is under, unlike what we had before. So I think this is kind of close, but this one is not light. This one is regular. Yeah, so any question on this, how I did this? Any question on how I did this? You can as well do it like, let me see. We have test. This is the test, right? You all know how to write this test. Then you duplicate the test and change it to time, which is 1:40. Let's say 1:40 o'clock. Let's just say 1:40 o'clock. Then I'm going to change this thing. This one is actually box. If I come here and press on this auto width, it's going to like just turn to this, something like this. Then I can now bring this one here. Then this one and this one, I frame it. That's just the simple way to go about it. Then I can still frame it again, or add auto layout to them, or just do this, increase this one like this, increase this one like this, then increase this like this, and increase this two like this. Then I had a color, a fill of this one. So I think this is kind of very straightforward, unlike this method I used. Then this one, you just play around, make it your semi-bold. Then the color, you tweak the color to be the color you want it to be. Yeah, I think there's a corner radius. So we have a corner radius of 12. I think 12 is fine. Yeah, 12 is just fine. So any question regarding this? You can also use auto layout. Like you can see, these ones are always in like this one is in auto layout. Why this one is not? Well, it's quite looking the same. It's quite looking the same. So you can use it.
For me, I'll prefer the second method. I think that one is faster and simple.
Yeah, it's faster. It's faster. So
I wanted to ask, what's going to be the implication, like why the programmers are programming this?
No, the grammar, there's no implication. No, there's no implication. The programmers do their own code. Although there's some kind of influence, you might want to influence your developer. You might want your developer to actually stick to, but it's not it's not always it's not in all scenario rather. Because in just like containers, for example, if I just like I usually said, use frame and don't use group. Also for developers, it's going to help them very well because they have something called the diffs in programming, and also some other things. They will just know, okay, this is a container. Then in programming, if this is the container, then this also is a test inside of a container. Like this is the normal big body. This is normal, but this is like a container too. Then inside this container, we have this small container. This one is a container too. This one is a container. Like just make sure you are using frame. It's more easier for programmers to work in frame. But if you have used grouped, you might not. For example, I don't know, if you are designing for web, most times it's better you just stick to using frame. And even for apps, I won't just advise anybody to use group. But if you use it as a designer, yeah, if you export your stuff, it's going to look fine. And even though, just let me duplicate this, and let's say this is not frame. This is not frame. Let me ungroup. So let me say I want to group this and this. I group them. Then I add background color to it. Okay, now look at even grouping self. I can't even add background color to this stuff because I've actually grouped them. They are not in a frame. It is group I used. So what is going to be changing the color? It's the element I've grouped together. Like if I have any other thing here, as long as it's inside this group, if I change the color, it will change color for individual of them. But if I had frame it and not grouped, if I had frame it, I can now, this is a frame, like a container, like an house on its own. So I'm putting this in an house. So that's one of the major stuff developers do. If they are building, if they are developing, develop by container, like they call it diffs. So just like it can be you can have a section, and inside that section, you will now have different kind of another frame inside that kind of section. So to make work very straightforward and well organized, like well planned out for the developer to work with. So I just very, very good to use frame. So but all this auto layouts and all those stuff, no, that doesn't really concern the developer. It's just for our own easy easy works. But there's what we call dev mode that developer might also want to try out. Like this now, you see, because I've used auto layout, I have 20, 20, 20, 12. But same thing for this, they click on this frame, they are still going to be able to see 25, 12, 57, so you get. So this is the dev mode. So they don't, if you have used auto layout or not, once they click on any particular element that you've used, they'll be able to see all the details, all the necessary details that they need. But if it is group, I'm not sure that will actually work fine. But for frame, I'm very sure it's going to work fine. So same thing as auto layout. So same thing with framing and auto layout thing. Like I said earlier, auto layout is also a frame. It's just that it's a different kind of frame. It's an auto layout frame, just like this one is normal frame. If you look at the front of this frame 26, you can see it is a frame, but before it is like an error sign. But this one is a frame also. But before it is like, it tells me the type of frame that it is, a vertical or horizontal, it will tell you. So, but it's quite the same. It's just auto layout is just for developers to have quick work and also make responsive designs. For example, this bookmark now, because they are in auto layout, I can change this. I can change this to as I'm changing this container to is like hugging it. So that's also one of the usefulness of auto layout. Basically, it's for developer more. It's for the designer,
so which,
rather. Sorry.
okay, so which do you what do you advise? Should we use the frame more or the auto layout? Which do you advise?
I would say you should use auto layout because the more you use it, the better you become at using it. So
Okay, sir.
the more you practice with it, the better you become at it.
All right, sir.
But it might be really frustrating and challenging at the beginning.
It is. It is actually. It is. It's very, very challenging.
Yeah. So this one also, I'm going to do this now. I can also use auto layout for this too. So, but let's just say we have a frame. We have a frame. This one like this. Then we now have corner radius of 12. So what I'm going to do is to look for our plugin to bring in our image, which is pixels. So this our plugin. I'll just insert any random image because of our time. Phone. So let me import this. Yep. So this is like that. So I'm going to reduce the size. Yeah. That means I will reduce the corner radius to something like 4. Or what's the corner radius of this one? Let's keep consistent. 4. Yeah, 4. So 4. Then I will duplicate this down. Then reduce the size. Make it this one. Let's make it equal. This is what width of 209. Let's make it 208. 208. Then I can now have 104. Or let me just use. Let me guess. This one divided by 2. So 1/2. Yeah, it's 104. So, but the height can now be something like this. What's the height of this one? 112. Let's see. 112. The height of this two should be 112. 112. Oh, we set it to be, this one is locked. So I'll have to unlock it and set this to be 112. Yeah. So then I'll duplicate this also. So this and this, I can auto layout this and auto layout this. Then what I can do is to increase this one to this, yeah, to this page. So now we have this. We can now change the content of this one. We can change the content of this one to let's see. So we just change it to something else. Yep, so this is pretty much it. So then we have another one here. We have another one here. And you can see, if you can look, if you take a look at this image very well, you see this is kind of showing that this message is coming from this person, because this edge is not kind of just like we have in the chart, something like this. Something like, let's say something like this. Let me draw my ellipse. And let me draw my this one. Giving like this kind of vibes. Yeah, giving this kind of vibe. This one is telling me that okay, this thing is actually is like a call out coming out from this person, which is quite necessary to in designing charts. So let's implement that. But for us, we won't be doing it to be that obvious. We're just going to be doing this. The corner radius of this one should be 0. This place will be 0. Yeah, this will be 0. And for this one, you're going to see it very clearly here. And for this one will be 4 back. Why this one? Because now it's the opposite. It's the opposite. This one will be 0. Let me change this background color to our primary color. Now, if you look at this design now, look at this one is rounded, but this place is sharp. It's not rounded. It's just like that. So it's kind of indicating that, okay, this message is coming from this end. So which is it's kind of looking good. Personally, I think it's nice. So we can also use this for our background color. Now we can also use our background color for this. Now you can see this text is actually bigger than this. So I won't be reducing it because I want to, there are scenarios where we might have text like this. So I won't be reducing it. I'll just leave it like this. So what else we are going to be doing is designing this remaining Django's here. So I'm going to just draw a frame. I'm going to draw a frame. This is the frame, right? So this frame has a color. I'm going to add my field to it. I think it's same thing with background color. Same thing with background color. But now look at, we can't really tell the difference between this, that something is here. And so to elevate this design now, we're going to use, it might change, you can do it 2 ways. Either changing the lightness by coming here and changing this from 100, reducing it rather to 90 or 95 or 96. Sorry, 96 or 99. So it depends on us. We can do it like that, or we can as well just add shadow to it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll be adding shadow to it, which is effect. So I come to effect, I click on plus, drop shadow. Then I come here to adjust my settings. Firstly, I'll first select the color I want. I'll use my background color and look for a lighter shade, like a darker shade of it. A darker shade of it. Then I will do this, increase the blur. I will increase the blur. The spread, so I want to increase the spread a little. Increase the spread a little. Then I leave this one as 0. This Y2, I want to leave it as 0. Let me see what I have. So I leave it as 0. I reduce the blur, or I increase the blur rather. Then I reduce the spread a little. So the main goal of this is just to have this one elevated from this. So I can now, as you can see, they have corner radius. So I can just add corner radius of this one should be 4. This one also will be 4. Let me look at it. Yeah, it's fine. But the shadow is not still giving. The shadow is looking like it shouldn't be too obvious because it might be distracting. Like there shouldn't be too much noise. I can also try and reduce my settings by doing the spread. Like I can do the spread like this. Okay, I think what I will need to do is, this is in 100%. I'll change this to 30%. Yep, and reduce the spread also. And I can increase the blur. Yeah. So our corner radius is not showing very well. I'd like us to increase it from 4 to 8. 8. Yeah, I think 8 is showing clearly. So now we have this. So what we can now do is have the remaining center there. So this box. So we can do this. We can do this. Okay, we can just do test. Let me carry my test. Write your message here. So write your message here. Okay, write a message. write a message. So another thing I would like us to, I want us to take note in this place. We can have this like this and have dot, 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 dot in front. It's very, very okay. In fact, it is just the normal route to go through. But there are some occasions whereby you might want to design and just for responsiveness purpose also, I can just have, instead of write my message here, I can just have write message here, and you want this text not to show finish, like you want it to be this kind of dot 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 dot. So firstly, let me just do this. Let me change my color to let me change my color to our normal color, which is body text, right? Body text, and this one should be light. Then I will now come to this place. You can see where the right I'm coming. Truncate text. You can truncate the text. So once you truncate the text, you just come here and reduce your stuff like this. So it will be like this. So if you enlarge this, you can see the remaining text. So I'm going to add auto layout to this Shift A, and I'll just add vertical padding of 12.
Sorry to interrupt you. Please, can you go back a little on how to truncate the text?
Okay, for example, let's truncate this text now. This one, I want to truncate this one. You click on the text itself, come to these three, this type settings. So once you come to this type setting, once you click on this, you're going to see truncate text at the edge, at the extreme bottom of the options. So once you click on it, it's going to change. Then you can now cancel it. Then you can now truncate it from here by reducing this. Now you can see, because this is not a layout, that's why I can just do this like this. Do this like this, then do this. I'm coming. If I reduce this now, because this text is actually being reduced, you can see this dot 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 dot. Actually, there's still more messages to show. That's why it is this dot 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 is there. You can put it manually, or you can just truncate the text, or you can put it manually also. So it's just fine if you put it manually, and it's fine if you also truncate it. So, but that's just how, in case you need to truncate, that's just how to truncate. Once you click on the text, come here, you see truncate text there, then you just click on truncate. You can look at this minus, that means you should remove it, but this one, you should put it. Do you get that? Do you get that?
Okay. Sorry.
Who was the person that asked the question? Oh, all right. So let's continue. So,
Can I ask a question,
Mary, you
please?
want to ask something?
Yes. I
Okay.
wanted to ask that what is the essence of truncating? When,
All
at
right.
what points?
At what there might be, okay,
should
there might
that
be,
come up?
yeah, there might be points whereby you need to, let's say, I don't know the particular, I don't have the particular, but I've used, there have been scenario where I used it. Okay, let me just show you. But that means I will have to open another file. I don't want to open this file. I don't know, but there are several scenarios you might want to use. Okay, let me use this one as example. All right, I think this will be fine. But it's going to be taking us very, very, it's going to be taking us time. But the thing is
Sorry
that,
about that, Sha, but you know that sometimes there are some
there are some
actions that you
scenario.
take. So what we want to know, at what point should I
Let's
take
say, for
such
example,
action?
you've done this. We have this. We have some text now here. We have some text here, and we want to do this. So because we are designing for mobile view and front and desktop view. So this is for mobile view, right? So for mobile view, we have something like this. We have something like this on the home page. We have all these jargons here. Then we now have a test beside of it. So, and this test, this is this test. So what I'm going to do now is to truncate this test. Okay, it's already there. So I'm just going to do this. Let me kind of remove this unnecessary jargons. So sorry. Yep. So I now have this. I have this, right? Yeah, I have this. Let me say I have Rosemary made us do this. So I have something like this. So now you see this text is actually truncated because it's in this kind of view. Let's say I want to, it's just for your personal something, no, it's just for this designers. Let's say now I want to do something like this for frame. Yeah, Mr. Adelaja.
Okay, I'm just thinking along as you're answering Rosemary that this is more like when you have a long text sent to you,
Yeah,
if I'm correct,
exactly.
I'm just saying,
It's
and you
just for
have to
long
click
text.
read more or continue
Exactly.
reading sort of.
Exactly. So, and most of them
Like
is
when
always,
people send
it's
you a long
always
chat on WhatsApp and then you have to click something to read further.
exactly. So we have like
Okay,
a read more button.
I understand.
Yeah. So, but for this one now, because this is actually a bigger screen, I don't need to read more. It's still because this text can actually still contain this frame. I can just have something like this. Then this text will be, sorry, this one will be something like this. This one will be something like this. Then these two can be here. Then all these remaining jargons, sorry, all these jargons now can now come here. But because as a designer, remaining jargon that is there, I don't need to be typing it again. I will just try and just increase this place. If I increase this place, I'm going to see all this remaining unnecessary stuff that I've actually covered, that are actually set to read more in mobile view. So you get, I'm not designing for mobile, I'm not designing for desktop. I don't need to start typing it again. I'll just, or if I had designed for desktop first and I have a lot of text here and I want to make it to fit into mobile and the text is already going long like this, I don't have to cancel it or delete it. I'll just truncate it and reduce it to the desired size I want to. Then I will now add read more button for them here to actually read more.
Oh,
Do you understand?
oh, yeah, I do. Thank
Yeah,
you
that's
very
just
much.
that's one scenario where you might need to use it. So for this, write message, then I have already added auto layout to it. Then I will change the corner radius to 12 or 24. I think it's more rounded. 24. Then a fill of this color. A fill of this color. A fill of this color is the one. So I can now increase my width. The reason why this is increasing together in center is because this is in auto layout, and in my auto layout settings, you can see these settings here, align center. So once I click on
You
align
put
left,
22, not 24.
oh, sorry, thank you. 24. So you can see this is align left, but I can align center, I can align right, I can do I can also align top and align center, but I want it to be align left center. So, and I can then add breathing space for this place, like a padding. So let's add 20. 20 is fine. So this is this. So let's turn on our layout grid. Okay, because we still have some tests to do. So okay, this is a smiley face. This one also, you can get this. Let's see if we can get this one from our material design. Smile. I hope you find something. Oops. Icons 8 face. Okay, let's use this one. This one is more similar. So then you bring it in. You bring it in. I'll set this one like this. This one to like this. I can auto layout this and set this to 8 instead of 9. 8. Then after that, we have what? We have this attachments. Attachments. Let's say pin. I think it should be pin. No. Attachments. Yeah, this one. Then also we want a microphone. Microphone, let's see, what can we use? Record. What can we search for? Someone should give me an idea. I'm looking for this icon.
Have you tried emoji?
I'm looking for this icon. Okay, this is mic.
Mic.
Yeah, so I'll bring my mic out here. This is the mic here. So I'm going to change the color to background color. No, not this one. This one. I'm going to change it to background color. Yeah. So this one, I'll change this one to body text. So then I'll reduce it. Okay, I'll use K to reduce it. So I'll bring it in inside of this auto layout. I can now reduce this. Can reduce this. So this microphone, I think it has something like a background circle stuff. So I can also add that. Draw my ellipse. Change it to our primary color. Then bring this background on top of it. Send it to the front. Then select it and frame it. So now I have this. I can make sure this one is center aligned. Okay, it is. So I can now bring this one to inside of this place. Sorry. I can bring this one to inside of this place. Now I'll just change this one to this one. And what else do we have? We have a lot of spacing between them. So firstly, I will detach this. Firstly, I will detach this from auto layout. Then I will add just these two to auto layouts. And auto layout to them. Then I can reduce this one. So this extreme edge. So this extreme edge. Or better still, I do this, make sure it is 13, 16, I want 16. This is 17. 16. So that's 16. Then for this also, I want 16. 13. 15. 14. I'm sorry, that's -2. 1, 2. So 16 like that. So now I have this. I can now select this, and just frame them if I want to. It's not necessary. So pretty much we've replicated the design. So any question? Okay, the background of this is white. So let's
Mr. Okpe,
yes, sir.
sorry to interrupt. The text is I think this frame, this last frame that we just designed.
Yeah.
It's covering the text.
Yeah, it's covering this one. Or which text?
Yes, this text. This
yeah, it's covering the text because this is actually the normal frame for an Android. So what we can do for the developer to see that okay, this stuff is covering this text is to bring this one down. And that is why okay, now you see as I'm bringing this down, it is not working. Can somebody tell me why it is not working? I can just then come and do this manually and bring this down too. But there's a way I could have done it that automatically it's going to work alongside with it. That's by constraining this to the bottom. So I'll make this one to be constrained bottom. And yeah, this one can be left and right. So once I increase this frame for my developer to see that okay, there will still be some overflowing text, or if it is content and not text, so you get. But basically, this is the correct size for Android. So if you open your phone and you want to do this, it should be like this automatically. It should be like this. So the only scenario the only thing, if you want to see the one beneath, is now for you to scroll up. That's when we now talk about prototyping. We are not there yet, but we're still going to get into that aspect. That is where we can now say, okay, if this is not clip content, we can firstly then do this, reduce this, then I will now do this, and this one. I'm going to just for clarity, just for your question purpose, I'm going to drag this one like this. Yeah. So now so I'm just going to now do this, and this, and frame them together, right? So I'm not going to do this and bring this one back up. Sorry, bring this one back up. Now you can see this stuff is still showing under because it's actually inside this frame. And I've set this frame not to clip content. So if I clip content, all these jargons will not show again. But they are still there. As you can see, they are still there. They are not just showing. So it is now when I prototype, when I say, okay, I go to prototype settings, then I said, oh, this one, oh, you should scroll. Is this vertical or horizontal? You should scroll, let's say vertical. Then I set the vertical scrolling to be something like this. So that means then I set this one to be fixed, like I said, to be fixed, stay in one place. There's this one too should be fixed, stay in one place. So if I now prototype this, so prototyping is just to show your developer how the thing actually interacts, like how the interaction will look like. Just like if I click on this button or if I do this particular something, this thing should happen. So that's prototyping. We are still going to get into that place very well, probably next week. So this will now work like this. So now you can see I'm scrolling the text. The one those ones that are not visible to you before are now visible because I'm actually doing this. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So that's just the essence of having that that overflowing, that thing covered like that. It's just for you to know, okay, it is normal for it to cover it because this is actually the frame. The frame is this size. It won't pass, just like your phone. It won't pass this size. But then there might still be some content under it. So it is very ideal of you because of your developer. You might not be able to tell them that there's something there. So just drag this one down. They will know that, okay, that's because this screen has some overflows. But normally it's going to, once they code everything finished and you want to actually prototype it or view it exactly as it's going to be in the app, it's going to be something like this. So it's now that will now be scrolling. It's just scrolling so that, okay, this thing is scrollable. This one is scrollable. You get. So I think that's just.
Please, I have a question.
All right. Nobody should ask questions regarding this prototype. We are still going to get there. I'm just showing you the main reason why it look as if this is covering this text. It's not wrong. It's not a wrong design. It's very, very right. And the reason is because this is the normal size for your frame, for your 100 large. So whatever you are going to be designing, make sure it is like this. So any other serien that is there will just be under this stuff. So it is when you scroll that you'll be able to see them. Just like we have here. I think we have something similar to it here. Normally this design when you are going to view it is going to be something like this. Yes. So there's still some serien here, but because of developer, because we want to tell them, okay, there's still some content here, and for them to be able to see what it is actually, so they can code it for iteration purpose or for how it's going to work in case. So that's where we just drag this one down here.
Mr. Kwen, can we say that you can just actually truncate the text? Like if you go back to the screen, please, can you go back to the screen? The stuff we did.
Okay. You should truncate this text.
Yes, like the after this the last one, this AMET. I think if while you are designing, if you try to truncate it, will it give them idea that there's still something?
Now look at it for yourself. If you do it like that, it might not give idea. She gets. Might not give idea. But if this text is actually, let's say this is actually a good text, like a normal text, like for example, this is personally for me, it looks nice, blah blah blah, and this stuff is not like this. Let me send this to the back. So I now have something like this. It will give you and this text is still long. You're going to know, okay, this stuff still continues. Let me just do this so you can better understand. Yeah, so I will just do this. So you can know, okay, this text, let me do it like this. If you look at this stuff now, you see, personally for me, it looks nice, just a little blah, blah, blah. Yes, that will work. Just like, there's something still missing. Like you want to read, that means you want to scroll and see what is under this. But if I had this truncated like this, let's say I truncate this text. So let me bring it up. Yeah, now you see it's now like this. It is not like this. Personally, for me, I might not want to scroll up, because this truncating will not even work for charts. It only works more for when you have something like read more. Basically, that's just it. Because if I have this text like this, now if I scroll, I don't know how to explain that, but it's just wrong. It's not normal. It's not normal to truncate text like in chat like this, because you actually want to read more of it. And if you want to read more, you have to scroll. The real time you can have this kind of thing is if you have, let's say something like this, like I said earlier, something like this. Where can I use? Like maybe year, yes, year like this. No, you can see this one is see all. You can truncate this text. You can truncate this text. If this is not actually a subheading, if it's something you want to read through, you can then see all. So it now takes you to the page where you can actually see the complete stuff, where you can actually read through. But this one is a chart. My aim is to scroll to see the remaining of the text. So I won't say that I won't truncate. I'll just leave it as that, just as this one is being left. Just as this one will be left. This one like this is being left. So what I want to do in this design now is I want to make sure that the remaining this stuff, this well done okay, is kind of showing a little. So you can tell my user that okay, there's still stuff to read. I think they call it viewport or view area in developing, like viewport, whereby okay, your user will be able to say, okay, this thing is still, there's still something here I need to read. So the person wants to scroll down and see what it is. So this thing is kind of giving you hints already. But if this one is hidden and this one is just here, you might think, okay, this is just the end of the road. But meanwhile, if this one is peeping a little, you will know, okay, there's still something to read here. But it's not ideal for you to truncate in charts like this, or like this one, you're not truncated. No, the best thing for you to do is to actually have it, then have this one cover it as usual. So normally people will know, okay, this system is not showing well, so they want to scroll up for you to show very well. When you can actually use truncate is if you have read more, something to read more. Like you have a very large text, now want to tell them to read more. But meanwhile, on your desktop, you can as well just do it like this, then just type ... But meanwhile, on your desktop, you don't want to be retyping it. So you just draw it to view the full content on your desktop. All these ones are just for designer tips, not it's just for you to be a faster and a better designer. But this one actually is the user experience. This one I said here, by having something peep, so that your user will know, okay, this thing still continues. That's the best thing to do, and not to truncate if there is something more to read, like on your mobile, something more to scroll. The best thing to do is to have this and not truncating. Any other question? Any other question regarding this design?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, what's the question?
I don't know if this has been talked about in any of the classes.
What is that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. In a situation where of course, for every design, there should be different views. So
Yes.
since we have to select the kind of frame to use for a particular design, and then there ought to be multiple views for different viewports.
I can hear you.
I said, in a situation one is making a design, of course, one has to design for different viewports, like the tablet, the
different screen
normal
size.
laptop and all of that. Yes, different screen sizes. So will you have to design differently for each of the screen sizes, or you can make one design and then there's a setting where you can do some adjustments depending on the kind of screen size you want to create for. I don't know if you get me clearly.
Yeah, I get you. You can do that. There might be settings. The only time there will be settings is if you have made the availability for settings. And what are the stuff that what are the settings you used? Those are the ones I've been talking about. You can use auto layouting, the constraints, and yeah, pretty much auto layout and constraints. That's what actually aid your responsive design. So if you design for, I'm coming. Let me just do the attendance and drop here. So if you design for this thing for desktop first, and you want to scale it down to mobile or tablet, it is going to work based on what you've actually the settings you've done personally, which are it's going to consider your auto layouts and your constraints. Let me show you an example here. Where's my Figma? Yeah, the attendance is dropped now. You guys can just fill in. It's going to close in about 10 minutes. So let's say this design now. I don't know a better design to use because we've not actually designed for desktop. But if you design for desktop, okay, let's say this. Let me use this as an example. Let's say we have frame. Let me bring my frame, my desktop frame now. So this is my desktop frame. I now have something like this. Where are these jargons? I have something like this. I have this. So now that I have this, let me scale this one. So let me ungroup this one too. Let me now do this. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 4, right? 1. This is desktop frame. If you agree with me, this is desktop frame. And I have 3 design here on desktop frame. And now this is F phone. This is iPhone. This is iPhone frame. Now you can see this design, this frame is bigger than this design. I can't expect myself to have these 3 something laid out like this as it is on this frame. What I can do is to have this in auto layout. Let's say I have it in auto layout, Shift A, auto layout. Then I set my auto layout to wrap. Now it is in wrap. So if I want to design for iPhone frame, I know iPhone is 428 by the width is 428 and the height can be as much as possible depending on how long the content is. So I'm just going to duplicate this and I'm going to do this. Just do this like this. As I'm moving this, because I've set this to be wrap content, so that's why it is actually doing like that. Then I can now change this one to be 428, which is my normal iPhone size. Now I have this, then I can now center and line this. Now for desktop, I know. Oh, sorry, did I duplicate it? Yeah, I did, thank God. So for desktop, I know I have this, and for mobile